Two men, 13 multi-million-dollar businesses, 8 kids, 1 business coach radio show. It's the Thrivetime Business Coach Radio Show. Get ready to enter the Thrivetime Show.
That's it. Bombs away.
All right, Thrive Nation, welcome back to the Knowledge Bomb edition here of the Thrivetime Show, where we keep it short, to the point, and I want to focus on one topic that I see so many entrepreneurs, so many pastors, so many leaders, so many business owners, so many people. It's a trap that I see so many business owners and leaders falling into over and over. It's where they, in this case, you maybe the listener, you begin to delegate a core task to somebody, and you believe that what they're saying to you is true. So you don't watch what they do. You believe what they're saying to you is true, so therefore you don't watch what they do. And that could be dangerous because it could be. It definitely is dangerous. It's reckless. It's reckless to listen to what people say and not watch what they do. Why? Because most people don't actually do what they say they're going to do. That's why with all of our business coaching meetings, all the clients I work with, we always assign specific action items to be done on a specific time by a specific person. Because if you don't assign specific due dates for specific things to be done by specific people, things have a magical way of not being done as a result of entropy or as a result of just default. Most things don't get done. In fact, Andrew Carnegie, the world's wealthiest man, once said, "As I grow older, I pay less attention to what men say. I just watch what they do." I repeat, Andrew Carnegie, once the world's wealthiest man who began working as just a young boy to support his family. He says, "As I grow older, I pay less attention to what men say. I just watch what they do." Thrive Nation, did you know that the U.S. Chamber of Commerce, these folks, they did a study, and what they did is they decided to study. They teamed up with the CBS News, and there's an article called "Employee Theft, Are You Blind to It?" And they decided to invest the time and the energy to do some research to determine what percentage of American employees steal from the workplace. This just in. And so they decided to study what percentage of American employees steal from the workplace. And do you know the number that they found? Do you know the number do you know the percentage of employees that they found who steal from the workplace and who often do so repeatedly? Do you know the percentage? Do you want to guess? They found that the U.S. Chamber of Commerce estimates that 75% of employees steal from the workplace, and most do so repeatedly. Okay, let's move on to another positive statistic. Did you know that 78% of men interviewed had cheated on their current partner? Wow. This came out in the Washington Post, everybody. I put a link to it on the show notes. Did you know that 9.4% of the U.S. population has used an illicit drug in the past month? Thrive Nation, I know there's some overlap out there, but what I have found is when you delegate a project or something that matters to you to somebody, and then you begin to abdicate. Abdicate means you delegate something, you give somebody something to do, but you don't follow up. When you abdicate to your employees, what you're going to find is that they are going to not get it done. Because most people, when they check into a hotel, they immediately crank down the temperature of the room to the lowest possible setting with no regard and no care for whether the hotel makes a profit or even breaks even. Most people crank down that temperature as low as possible because it's the hotel. It's not their air conditioning. It's not their air conditioning. It's the hotel's air conditioning. And so therefore, they're going to lower the temperature as low as possible with no regard at all for the costs that the hotel might have to pay for the air conditioning. Another example, when people when people drive a rental car, they go out there and they rent a car. You're going to a trip. Maybe you're going on vacation. Maybe your car is getting repaired. Most people drive that rental car like they're going through an episode of Dukes of Hazzard. They're driving the episode like they're driving their car like they're from an episode of Speed. They're driving their car like they're from, what's that show, Fast and Furious? I mean, these people are just driving that rental car to the absolute extreme. They're absolutely just hitting the brakes hard, hitting the accelerator hard. And we know this. There's all sorts of statistical evidence to prove this. Most people drive a rental car hard, man. They push that like it's NASCAR. Why? It's because it's not their car. Another example. Recently, this is a few years back, I had people come over for my son's birthday. We had a big birthday party for my son. We had a water slide. We rented the water slide, the inflatable water slide. If you can picture it, it's like 25 feet tall. The slide's 18 feet tall. It's a big inflatable, you know, the red, the blues, the yellows, the pageantry of the large inflatables. It's going on. We got the water slide going on. Kids everywhere. We've got... we're having Chick-fil-A food delivered. I mean, we've got the whole mojo going. We got music playing outside. Everyone's having a great time. But do you know what everybody's not going to do? What? Everybody. What is everybody who attends the party not going to do when they leave my house? They go out of the front door, maybe out of the screen door, out of the side door. They go out of any door. They go out of the side door, the front door, any door they exit. You know what they're not going to do because it's my house and not their house? And they're going outside in the summer in Oklahoma. They're leaving the cool conditions, the not so hot conditions, the comfortable and cool climate of my abode. They're leaving the interior of my house and they're going outside into the wet blanket. That is the 100-degree temperatures and the humidity that Oklahoma often achieves during the peak of the summer heat. You know what they're not going to do as soon as they go out that door? They're not going to shut the door. And do you know why the guests who attended my son's birthday party don't shut the door? It's because it's not their house. They just don't care. And I'm not exaggerating. I'm not kidding. I'm not trying to elaborate in a way that's not truthful but you know this to be true because you've seen this. I started to make a tally of every time that a kid or an adult walked out my door and did not shut the door. And we had probably 50 guests at my son's birthday party, the one I'm thinking of, 50 people attending the party, you know, so it's probably 10 families, you know, there's 10 families there. And then they got, average family has 2 or 3 kids there. Do you know how often that people actually shut the door when they walked outside with their kids? Do you want to guess? I mean, well, it wasn't very much. And it's not because the people who attended my party are bad people. They're probably great people. They are great people. It's just that it's not their house. But if it was their house and they were paying for their air conditioning and they knew how expensive it is to cool a home in Oklahoma, when the doors are open, the exterior doors are open, trust me, they would shut the door. Trust me, when people rented a car, if they realized how intense, how expensive it is to drive a rental car, when they realized the costs associated with driving a rental car, like it's a NASCAR, when they realize how expensive it is for the rental car company, if it was their own company, they would not drive a rental car like that. And when people checked into a hotel and they realized how expensive it was to cool a hotel room, trust me, people would not lower the temperature to 68, 67 degrees and then leave for the day. No, they wouldn't. If it was their own room, they'd probably make the temperature, 72? 70, 74, I don't know. What do you keep the temperature at your house? But the point is, people as a general rule waste other people's resources. As a general rule, people waste other people's resources. And so if you own a business, you're going to have to keep that in mind, that the bias for most of your teammates and employees is that they have no problem wasting your resources because it's not their own resources. And so the only way that I know to reduce the expenses and this habit and this trend that people have by default of wasting your resources is to inspect what you expect. Inspect what you expect. Again, you must what? You must inspect who? You. You must inspect what again? You must inspect what you expect. Because if you do not do that, people are going to absolutely eat up all of your resources because it's not their resources. And ladies and gentlemen, the first time that this principle was taught to me was when I sat down and met with Carlton Pearson, who is a man I no longer share the same faith with the guy, but he's a guy who was impactful for me as a speech coach, as a trainer, and a guy who really helped me during the formative years of growing my first company, DJConnection.com. And if you look up Carlton Pearson, he grew one of the largest mega churches in Tulsa, Oklahoma. He was arguably one of the top televangelists of his era. He was the mentor of T.D. Jakes, and he said to me, he said, Clay, you have to inspect what you expect. So I would just say this to you, Thrive Nation. If you're out there and you own a business and you want your employees to make calls, you have to record the calls, and you have to follow up. You have to inspect what you expect. If you're out there and you have a garden, you plant a garden, you plant some seeds, maybe you want to plant some vegetables or some fruit, you can picture it now. You got to pull the weeds. So you got to walk by the garden every week and pull the weeds. You can't just let it grow you can't just trust that nature will take care of itself. Things don't naturally organize by entropy. All right? If you have a team of people that drive around and do marketing in their cars to other vendors, you've got to put a GPS, a global positioning system, on every car so that you can know where the cars are actually going and making sure that people are actually doing their job. If you have a company where there's face-to-face sales going on, you've got to make like Target. Remember, Target does this. This is not my idea. Target, the major retailer, they put up recorded cameras so they can verify that customers are not stealing. It's not that they don't trust you, but they really don't. They're verifying that you're not stealing. So what you have to do, whether you're doing cold calls, drive-by marketing, you have maybe you have builders that build on site. They're constructing, they're framing houses, they're putting in wood floor, whatever they're doing. You want to set up a camera system so you can verify that people are doing what they say they're doing, because you must inspect what you expect. My friend, people are always going to use more hotel air conditioning than they should. People are always going to drive rental cars with a reckless enthusiasm that rivals the drivers at a typical NASCAR race. And people are always going to not care about your business as much as you. So you have to inspect what you expect. And now, without any further ado, 3, 2, 1, boom!